Good morning, student. Today we are going to learn about internal structure in nerium and maize leaf. So, this one is the flowering twig of nerium oleander, and this one is the maize plant. This is the transverse section of nerium leaf, and this one is the transverse section of maize leaf. First of all, nerium oleander is nothing but a plant which is having some modified structures that are nothing but an sunken stomata, trichomes, and the presence of a thick cuticle in these leaves. They represent xerophytic adaptations. So, this is the transverse section of nerium oleander, and this nerium is belonging to the family Apocynaceae, which shows distinct departures so far as the arrangement of a tissue is concerned. And from the one described previously, they possesses xerophytic adaptation, means this nerium plant can grow in drought resistant or within a limited water. So the transverse section of a nerium oleander leaf that would reveals the following structure, that is epidermis, then mesophyll cells, then vascular bundles, and sunken stomata and trichomes. So first of all, we learn about epidermis. So this epidermis is present on adaxial and abaxial both sides on a leaf lamina, that is a multi-layered or 2 to 3 layered epidermis. That's why it is called as a multi-layered or multiserrate. They are composed of usually 3 layers which are compactly arranged, and the cells are isodimetric, means each and every cell is having same dimensions. Iso means same. The outer walls of the cell forming outermost layer are very strongly cuticularized. So this is the first layer of epidermis that can be completely covered with a thick cuticle, and that's why it is strongly cuticularized, which is the characteristic of xerophytic leaf. Then these epidermal outgrowths are like stomata and trichome. So this stomata type is nothing but an sunken stomata which is located in a depression known as stomatal pit. So the depression is nothing but an small slightly deep groove, and this is called as a sunken stomata, which is found in a pit, and also that pits having epidermal cells, that cells behave as like a trichomes, and that's why here is the presence of trichomes within a stomatal pit. So these are the characteristic of xerophytic plants. It is an effective mechanism. Due to that, plant can reduce the transpiration rate, means they can avoid a huge water loss. Below that epidermal layers, there is a presence of a mesophyll. It consists of palisade parenchyma, which is a long elongated columnar cells, and which are present on both sides. So this is the 3-layered palisade parenchyma, and this is a 2-layered single-layered palisade parenchyma. In between these 2 layers of palisade parenchyma, in between both of them, here is the presence of spongy parenchyma or spongy mesophills. So what is the difference between palisade mesophytes? That is, they are long, elongated, compactly arranged, and if the leaf showing two layers on upper side and lower side, at that time that leaves is called as a dorsiventral leaf. So such type of condition is found in nerium, and in between these two palisade mesophyll cells or palisade parenchyma, between them there is a presence of spongy mesophyll cells which are loosely arranged, and they possesses few number of chloroplast. As compared to palisade parenchyma, they possesses huge number of chloroplast within it. These chloroplasts are abundantly present within a palisade parenchyma along with the radial walls, means a peripheral wall, and inner palisade, that is palisade occurring on the abaxial side, is usually one layered and consists of rather small cells. As compared to upper epidermis, the spongy cells located in between two palisade layers are isodiametric, much smaller as compared to palisade parenchyma, and loosely arranged, and that's why there is a development of profuse intercellular spaces. The spongy mesophyll cells are loosely arranged and there is a creation of a spaces, and within that spaces there is a presence of a calcium oxalate crystals. So here is the calcium oxalate crystals. These two are the intercellular spaces which are filled with the calcium oxalate crystals. Then below that mesophylls there is a presence of a vascular bundle. So these vascular bundles are collateral because xylem are present on upper side and phloem are present on lower side. These vascular bundles are closed one and they remain surrounded by parenchymatous bundle sheath cells which are single circular sheath of a parenchymatous cells. These leaves are common in monocotyledons. Her stomata occur on both the epidermal layers. They are more abundant on the adaxial side. Mesophyll hardy shows differentiation between palisade and spongy cells, and few common isobilateral leaves have been selected for the study of internal structure. So this is all about the nerium leaf cross section. This is the actual nerium leaf cross section which shows presence of vascular bundles. These are the stomatal pits which are having stomata and trichomes, and this one is the multi-layered epidermis. So then come towards the leaf internal structure of a zea mays, that is maize plant. This section of a zea mays which is belonging to the family Gramineaceae, showing presence of epidermis, mesophyll, then vascular bundles, and if the epidermis, in case of a zea mays, epidermis is present on both upper and lower side, which are uniseriate, means single layered and composed of more or less oval cells with cuticularized outer wall. So each and every epidermal layer is protected by or covered by the cuticle, but in some cases it is a thin layered cuticle, or in some plants it is a thick layered. So in case of a nerium it is a thick layered, in case of a maize it is a thin layered. The upper epidermis may be easily identified due to the presence of large and empty bulbiform cells. So sometimes the epidermal cells becomes enlarge in size, and that cells are called as a bulbiform cells. The stomata occur on both surface of the epidermal layers, that is upper epidermis as well as lower epidermis. Both epidermis are showing stomata. So here is the presence of a stomata with a stomatal cavity or substomatal chamber. Below that epidermis there is a presence of a mesophyll. So this mesophyll does not show differentiation into palisade and spongy cells, but it is made of rather compactly arranged isodiametric cells. So each and every cell is a oval to squarette in shape, and that's why there is a minimum intercellular spaces. So these are the mesophylls which are isodiametric. Iso means same and diametric means a measurement of each and every cell. So this is the TS of a Zea mays or maize plant leaf. This one is the dark colored cuticle which is thin, and below that there is a epidermis. So this one is the epidermis, upper epidermis. These cells becomes enlarged as compared to remaining cells, and thus these cells are called as a bulbiform cells. Below that epidermis there is a presence of a isodiametric, palisade and spongy cells, which is the part of a mesophyll which possesses a numerous chloroplast. Then these mesophyll cells are get interrupted by the presence of a vascular bundle. So this is the vascular bundle, and on the both sides of a vascular bundle there is a presence of a sclerenchymatous sheath. Sclerenchymatous cells are thick walled cells and which always performing a function, that is a mechanical support and protection to the vascular bundles in case of a leaf. Then these are the small veinlets. This one is the main midrib, and these are the small veinlets which are protected by the bundle sheath, which are the parenchymatous cells, and they form a single ring like structure, and inside that there is a presence of a xylem and phloem. So these are the xylem, these are the metaxylem, and this is the xylem cavity. This one is the protoxylem, and these are the phloem cells which possesses sieve tubes and companion cells. So this is the Zea mays. Here is the one another diagrammatic representation of a Zea mays which shows a vascular bundle, bulbiform cells, presence of a xylem, presence of a phloem. These are the parenchyma which filled with the chloroplast. This is nothing but an mesophyll cell. These are the lower epidermis. This one is the upper epidermis. So come towards the vascular bundles. Vascular bundles are collateral, means xylem and phloem are facing towards each other, that is a collateral, and the complete vascular bundle is closed within a bundle sheath cells which remain arranged in parallel series. The majority of bundles are small but fairly large vascular bundles occurs at the regular intervals, and small bundles have xylem on the upper side and phloem on the lower side, which is surrounded by the large parenchymatous cells called as a bundle sheath. So this bundle sheath can protect or as like a envelope for the vascular bundles. The cells of the sheath contain plastids and also filled with the starch grains. It is assumed that this layer serves as a temporary storage tissue apart from the conducting products of photosynthesis. So whatever the photosynthetic material or food material is developed over there, that can be going to be stored within a bundle sheath cells. Then xylem as usual consists of trachary elements, that is vessel tracheids and fibers, while phloem possesses sieve tubes, companion cells, and phloem parenchyma. This is the vascular bundles. A large vascular bundle practically resembles that of like a stem. Then sclerenchyma cells occur in patches on the both edges of the bundle, obviously for giving a mechanical strength. So this is all about Zea mays transverse section, and these are the flowering twig of a nerium, and this is the complete plant body of a Zea mays with roots, adventitious root and stilt root. Here is the complete pistil, here is the male inflorescence, this is the male spikelet, and this is the female inflorescence. And after the seed setting, here is the development of a mature ear, that is a sweet corn. So thank you for watching my lecture.